This comic is going to re-examine gender roles. Do we want to re-examine? Yes, you need to change. I don't really want to change, but you need to change. I think you need to change. Maybe you should start by sucking my salty balls. Click the links for BitChute, Odysee, Gab, Discord, which is cancer, so avoid the Discord unless you have asbestos panties. Star Wars, High Republic will give you AIDS. If you are a comic fan or enjoy the films, you can stop. They're not for you. They are meant to degrade and humiliate you. The guys on BitChute and in Discord call me cruel, hurtful names because I talk about comics. But comics are a view into the mind of the purse puppy puppets who are being manipulated. They are the useful idiots like Antifa and BLN. Comics bear no relation to comics that you grew up with. They are toxic, I will say blonde to escape the algorithm, anti-blonde propaganda. Diversity hires write them. Legitimately dumb, racist, hateful people. But the white pill is that sales are very low. Let's take a gander at the covers. Shaved head, breastless lesbians. I don't even know if they've got B cups under there. The only male character is the lizard guy. And if you're a Star Wars nerd, anyone who has more knowledge of a subject than me and in a certain pop culture is automatically a nerd. The male character is bad because he's male. The breastless lesbians are good. The shaved side of the head, that was out as soon as you started that. So this is the Marvel version. So the only human character... Oh, look, there's no humans on the cover, which makes it hard for people to identify with. But he is male, and he is, of course, bad. Breastless, shaved head, lesbian. If you want a man in comics, just use male characters. Don't make chicks look like males. All right, IDW does a much better job with the art. This looks suspiciously like a Terry Pratchett cover. The Terry Pratchett thing he did, the Australian, I think it's The Lost Continent. A amazing book, great cover. This artist is amazing, but don't let the covers fool you because it's going to get really, really woke really, really fast. Okay, so these are two covers with WOC purse puppies. Keep in mind that 99% of your audience is not a black female, so it's kind of an odd choice to use a character that your audience is not going to identify with. And I clipped this section because, what do they say in writing? Trite, hackneyed, overused phrases or colloquialisms that can be tied to like a specific period of time or like Americanisms. I don't know what that phrase is. Maybe it's colloquialisms, idioms, or something like that. Phrases like this. He says, hold up, and then later in the comic, the black girl says something like, we got you. Well, that's like black Twitter speak within the past 5 or 10 years. You don't want to use phrases that like you hear it and you immediately think earthling, which is another problem of this comic. Is you see this comic and you see the only two human characters, I'll get into in a sec, are very much reminding you of Earth because it has to be diverse. Anyway, the only females that should be on covers should be big-titted blondes. Black girls don't buy comics, so nobody is buying your propaganda. The way I read comics is I flip through until I see the blonde or red-haired character. You have just identified the evil, intolerant, cruel antagonist. I only say this because it's accurate 90% of the time. If you read comics, you know I'm not lying. You may think that makes the story too predictable, and you would be right. SJW comics follow a if X then Y program. If dark, then good. If light, then bad. Predictable axe grinding stories are very boring, which is why modern comics will give you AIDS. Now, that isn't to say that the covers aren't good and the art is great, but that doesn't make up for the hatred against the beautiful people of Starbucks and Uggs. Blondes are awesome. The best looking chicks in the world are blonde, blue-eyed, I don't know, pink bikini. Comics can't brainwash people into hating blondes. Instead, we just hate these comic companies. So every time they show his face next to her face, what do you notice about the difference in the expressions? And it's in every single, let me zoom in on this for you. She's cool, calm, collected, looking beautiful. Well, amazing art. He is panicked, nervous, sweating, spitting. I don't know. He's just a drooling idiot because he's white. I don't mind if the lead is a bit of a Mary Sue purse puppy. Because even if you like lead characters, you have to admit that, you know, that's what they are. But here is the rule of thumb to avoid problems. Make the purse puppy and the antagonist the same race. Because in both Marvel and IDW's comics, you have black female breastless lesbian leads, with blonde kids being intolerant bigots or just incompetent idiots. This is the intolerant bigot blonde kid. The other comic, the Marvel version, has the incompetent idiot. More on that later. So, gee, what are the odds? Well, it's every single time, so the odds are pretty good. I'm not kidding. Flip through a comic. If you see a purse puppy on the cover, flip through till you find the blonde-haired or the red-haired kid. They're the bad character. 100% of the time? Almost. This story and all these modern stories are not stories. They're just pravda lessons in diversity goodthink. The only two human characters are the blonde and black. They clearly want you to get the message. Blonde is evil. The blonde boy is palling around with an alien. In fact, everyone on the island is mixed race, species, because the writer is as subtle as a rhino. Not only is diversity our strength, it isn't. Interspecies diversity is also required. Was it Clerks 2? No. Yeah, maybe it was Clerks 2. So everybody is represented and they all get along perfectly, just like in Brazil or California, which is almost the same thing. They're not just telling an interesting story. That was like 20 years ago. The writer is given several hard plot points and he's forced to work them in. 1. Breastless WOC fuzz bumper. 2. Malicious blonde boy who is, of course, intolerant or incompetent. 3. Alien woman of color who needs to teach young Adolf the error of his ways. 4. Lesbian interspecies love affair between the WOC and the alien WOC. I know an alien is just an alien, but she's got this squid hair thing going on and is, oh wait, lucky me, juxtaposed to the dreadlock girl. She's obviously made to be a soul purse puppy sister. Yes, the story is developmentally disabled. It has blonde man bad, diversity is our strength, except for blonde people, girl power, Mary Sue's, double girl power, I feel like, who was that, Joe Bob Briggs? Alien women of color, girl power, who has to save an intolerant young Austrian corporal from his Untermensch ways. The art is fantastic, but don't let it fool you. There is serious hatred involved. The art is tricking you because it's got that Terry Pratchett fun vibe, or kind of a Lord of the Rings stylized thing. I don't even know if the writer is to blame for this so much, because I don't know how much agency the writers have. Okay, this is a short video because I took out all the politically incorrect stuff and I put it on BitChute. Having a hard time staying between the navigational guidelines. So, of course, everyone is diverse. They're not even the same species. She's a squid. He's an Aryan or Nordic central casting. So the only two identifiable human characters are the pretty blonde girl, who's well drawn. Everything is well drawn in this, and the evil SS youth group leader. And we've got girl power, fingerless gloves. She's wearing like 5 different layers of clothing. Yes, you're concealing those A cups. You're not even. I hope she's of age, and I hope the squid girl's of age too. But it's like, if you just want to draw men, just draw men. Okay, so we get to the really, really, developmentally disabled. It's the whole thing. It's just, it sucks worse because you look at this art and right off the bat you think, oh, this is cool. This looks really fun. Yes. When I say I could write better than this, I mean it. Because I would just cut out all the racism and make everyone cool. That's how you do it. And my writing of this wouldn't be stellar, but it would be what you'd expect. It would just be a fun, kick-ass story. So that's what they're going for. The force, it rises in me. Is this some Maya Angelou, like freshman college garbage? Poetry's got to be a couple hundred years old. And I rise, and we rise together, and I rise, and too black, too strong, or too squid, too strong. So here you've got the blonde character just being a little bitch. And the two girls holding back the debris. Here's the thing about women's. I know there's only like 2 women who listen to this, but I think they'll back me up on this. Women don't want to see men in these roles of subservient, needing to be protected. Only soy boys want those roles of strong women. Women want to be protected. That's like 99% of women will agree with that statement. Oddly enough, fewer men will agree with that statement because there's a whole bunch of soy boys out there, especially soy boy writers, who don't have the faintest clue about gender roles are there for a reason. Women have wombs. They're very biologically important. All this stuff is tied in. Like humans came down from, or primates, I guess they weren't humans, came down from the trees 10 million years ago. 2 million years ago, the Pleistocene, we had Lucy. All, like, we've had millions of years of becoming what we are, of women carrying babies. That's like 500, I don't know, when did sexes diverge? 500 million years ago? Precambrian or some shit? This is so hardwired into us to see the boy being rescued. None of it makes sense. It's like it's a one-off story that you could read. One issue is worth $4 for one issue, but this is not one issue. It's going to go on. And of course you made the blonde kid the intolerant, istophobic bigot. Try not to swear. I could do a comic like this every 2 days where it's Purse Puppy on the cover. See, I did the EIDW version. There's a Marvel version. It's got 3 issues. These are the 3 covers of the Marvel version. It's just his dog feathers bad. The exact same thing, except with this, there's a little blonde kid, oddly enough, who is, instead of being malicious, bigoted, intolerant, he's just incompetent and in the way and a crybaby. So you know your audience is like 98% male. And your audience looks like the blonde kid, or at least they identify more with the blonde kid than they do the black girl with her shaved head and with her lightsaber right by your ear. It's just stupid. Both the girls would catch their hair on fire. God, this is so stupid. I don't know. They don't even rise to the level of hate. It's just like, you guys are making propaganda, and I don't know if they're twisting your arm. It's like, I don't know who is in charge, how much agency the writers have when they're writing for Star Wars. I assume they don't have any. It's not like, you're doing your own, what's Meyer's comic called? Jawbreakers and the frog stuff, where it's like you can do what you want. You own your properties. You can make them as good or bad, and it's up to you. It's on you. This is like committee. This is death by committee is what this is. It's sad to see somebody, like everyone involved in this. I know these writers can write, and I know the artists can draw, and everyone, like, this is just so wasted to waste this beautiful, beautiful art. Like, I would love to have an honest talk with the artists. Like, do they really believe this kind of stuff? I don't know. I mean, I'd say take a physical anthropology class, a cultural anthropology class, and just, I don't know, come face to face with some reality of like 500 million years of getting us to this by putting men or the males in certain roles and females in certain. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. We'll see you all on Odysee, Gap, BitChute, Minds. Hopefully Gap TV as soon as they live stream. Odysee is rolling out live streaming. BitChute supposedly. So I will catch you guys there.